Manchester United 3, Crystal Palace 0. I'm going to say something I haven't said all season. A comfortable win for Manchester United. I thought those days were done, Jay. Yeah. I thought the idea of a comfortable win, a relaxing game with a thing of memory. And yet, this team has proven, a much-changed team has proven they can still put a shift in against decent Premier League opposition as well. 3-0 to Manchester United. Never in doubt, never in question. I think United were already 2-0 up before Palace had their first shot, let alone, creating chances. A very good performance from Manchester United. And not just the result, but the sort of feeling that we've needed as a United fans, haven't we? Just a minute where you can watch it and go, actually, this isn't horrible. Yeah. How much have we needed that?
No, you're right. We have needed it because I think there's lots of things we've needed that happened in that game. Yes. A comfortable win, which is obviously what you want. I'm just looking at some stats here. 14 shots from United, 4 from Palace, 7 on target for United, 2 from Palace. Even if they'd have scored all their shots on target, we still would have won. 68% possession. In the chat during the watch along, people talking about us having more possession, being a possession-based team. Well, we've done that tonight. We've had more than double the amount of possession they've had. Good performances from... I know he featured in a cameo Turf Moor, but Sofian Amrabat making his full debut, a good performance from him. Harry Maguire coming back into the team, playing well, getting a clean sheet. Andre Onana getting another clean sheet, back-to-back clean sheets for him. Anthony Martial, another player who's been criticised, getting a goal. It just felt like all the sort of doubts or little comments or worries that you might have going into this game. Is Martial, is he completely useless? Can he do anything for us? Yeah. Is Amrabat going to fit in well? He's going to take time to settle. Is Andre Onana going to make another clanger? He's going to be a bit of a... I know he didn't have anything to do really today. He had one big save though, to be fair to the kid. It was all just what you wanted. Yeah. Everything I could have wanted realistically happened. Even Maguire. I don't think he put a foot wrong tonight. He looked like the Harry Maguire of old, picking out passes, carrying the ball. It was a good performance from Harry Maguire. Don't just hate on him because you might not like the guy. But it was, and I think he needed that as well, because if we keep getting his injuries, there's a good chance he'll play some football for us. So it just felt like a routine win, and we don't see that very often. And I think you pointed out during the watch-along, that was the sort of game that you'd see under Sir Alex Ferguson.
20 times a season.
League Cup game, or even in a league. Comfortable win. Yeah. Couple of goals in the first half, one to sort of round it off in the second half, not in danger, giving youngsters a chance. That's the other thing we saw tonight, which was great. The likes of Dan Gore getting on the pitch as well. It was just a good performance all round, and you might look, maybe this could have been better or that could be better. I don't look for it, mate. I don't look to moan if there isn't anything to moan about, and I genuinely don't think there's anything to moan about that tonight.
No,
I don't.
No, there was a lot of good performances. And like you said, I don't think we need to try to find the negatives here, especially the season we've had so far. We should be looking for the positives, and luckily there was plenty. Just want to get into a couple of
stats.
You mentioned Harry Maguire there. 108 passes from Harry Maguire, which is just good. Really 93% pass success rate, and just passing for pass's sake, doesn't necessarily mean a lot. But the good thing about Harry Maguire is he made 3 passes into the final third as well, which obviously isn't tons, but he is advancing play. And also, let's not pretend that Harry Maguire has to be Franz Beckenbauer. Yeah. If he can just be the Harry Maguire from 2 years ago, it would be a massive improvement on what we've seen over the last few months because of the situation he's in and because of how poor his form's been. And this was much like a Harry Maguire under Solskjaer, 2020-21 performance tonight. Comfortable, controlled, good on the ball, or certainly constantly on the ball. And I thought it was very good. Another player that I want to point out, Mason Mount, who obviously came off at half-time for Victor Lindelof, but in that first half created 3 chances, which is very, very good. He looked much more like himself, didn't he, Mason Mount? Yeah. High energy, good work rate, getting stuck in, and developing little relationships. That's him and Hannibal with some really nice link-up. Him and Dalot with some really good link-up. Constantly getting the ball into the box, getting himself into the box. Yeah. It was the exact sort of performance that I thought we'd be getting from him week in, week out. And, people will say Palace sort of phoned it in a little bit, and maybe they did, but also we've seen this team struggle and lose games to relegation fodder in the past when they start to get their heads down. At the end of last season, or the season before last, should I say, they would just lose to anyone, regardless of how much they were trying. So, people like Mount and I think Maguire needed a performance tonight, especially Maguire, but it's good to see it from Mount because he's probably going to be first choice, and we saw it. Another person I want to get your thoughts on is Amrabat. Played left back to start with, then sort of kind of played this kind of inverted full-back role, was coming into the central midfield. Second half, much more on the ball. They're doing a little bit of a player profile on him now as well on Sky. That's the sort of full debut you want to see, isn't it? Like getting 78 passes on your debut. Yeah. It must be a lovely feeling, just getting the ball at your feet constantly for a player that's new to the team, that's trying to integrate their way in. That's just exactly what you wanted to see, isn't it? You
sort of spoke to me about him a few weeks ago, about his style, what he does and how he plays. And you were just seeing that in those highlights, like sort of, nicking the ball off someone's foot when he's running alongside him, tracking back. And there was a couple there where he nits it off the foot, and one where he nits it off the foot and Hannibal steps in and took it off him. Mm-hmm. Now, I love Christian Eriksen. I think he's a fantastic footballer, but he's not that guy. He doesn't tend to stick a foot in. He's not sort of got the pace to track back with someone. I know he's a completely different player to Sofian Amrabat. I'm just saying, if you want a different option there, you want someone who's different, then you could go with Sofian Amrabat. You could perhaps maybe give the likes of Casemiro that little bit more help in the middle of the park that he doesn't get when he's got Christian Eriksen. And it's nice to have a decent option as well. I don't want to get carried away because we've only seen him for about 100 minutes since he's been at Manchester United. But he did what he said on the tin tonight. And it would have been quite easy for him to come in and have a bit of a ropey one where you're going, or do it the other way around where he plays it safe. Yeah. But he didn't. He picked out some passes and he was successful with them. So a good debut, full debut for him as well. And like you're saying, whether it's linking up with Mount, with Hannibal, whether it's helping out his defence, whatever it was, he ran the full gamut of sort of traits that you'd want to see from Sofian Amrabat. And if I'm Erik ten Hag, I'd be buzzing with that. I think that he's doing exactly what I need him to do in his team.
Yeah. Just another player.
I will get to comments in a minute, by the way. Sorry to interrupt you, Joe. I will get to comments, but I want to hear from you again.
Yeah, another player I want to talk about because, again, he's needed a performance, and I thought we actually saw a decent performance against Burnley as well, but we saw an excellent one tonight from Casemiro.
Yeah.
Getting another goal, which, again, he scored 2 against Bayern, and he didn't have a great game. But tonight he did have a very good game. It was much more like the old Casemiro, wasn't it? With maybe, slowly he's coming into this season. I didn't think he was actually that bad against Bayern, despite the 4 goals. I didn't think he was great, but I didn't think it was quite as bad as he had been. Then slightly better against Burnley, then much better again tonight against Palace. Is there signs that we're just sort of starting to see Casemiro turn in the right direction this season? Because I think having someone like Amrabat alongside him, and even just the energy of Hannibal, that is helping him, and we're seeing a lot more from him, aren't we?
Yeah, he's got a bit of a rep for being a slow starter, Casemiro.
Yeah.
Going back to his latter days at Real Madrid, I mean, you were looking at, I think there was a couple of articles around it from the 2020-21 season, where a few Madrid fans and commentators were saying, what's going on with Casemiro? Why is he not at the races?
Yeah.
He's taking a little while to get going. And I think that might be even sort of conducive to you winning trophies like the Champions League, because you can start slow in a league and not win a league. You can start a bit slow in the Champions League and still win the Champions League.
Yeah.
And he tends to, towards the end of the season, it's phenomenal. And we saw it last season. He came in and everyone sort of said, well, it's his first month in English football. He wasn't great in those first few weeks. I remember looking at him thinking, you can see what he's got, the quality, but it's a bit sloppy and it looks like he's struggling to get to grips with it. And this season, the first few games, you got people going, what's up with Casemiro? People writing him off as he put on weight. Is he 31 now? Is he past it? Oh, we've given him this long-term deal. But I think he is just that guy who maybe takes a little while to get going. Played a lot of football last season. Obviously played for Brazil in the World Cup. Played for us. I know he got suspended with a couple of red cards as well, but he still ended up playing a lot of football. But no, he's in the last couple of games, we've seen what he's about. We're just looking at the assist here for Anthony Martial. And someone said it in the chat during the watch-along. It's almost a no-look past that.
Yeah.
He sort of looks like away a little bit. He's not fully turned his head, but it is almost a no-look pass, if that makes sense. So yeah, a great performance for him, and also top scorer for United.
Yeah, just a few.
Which is just a bizarre stat because you don't associate him. I don't associate him with getting goals, but he's got 4 so far.
Yeah, and I think Ronaldo was saying since the start of last season, which is obviously basically one full season because he missed the first few games for United, didn't he? So in what is essentially a full season, he's got 20 goals and assists for United.
That's right.
That's more than I think anyone other than Rashford and Bruno, isn't it? I can't imagine who would be higher than that. Just on a few of his stats tonight, 100 passes.
Very good. Well, I presume there's a success rate there.
Yeah, 100 passes, which is 88% success rate, but also 22 passes into the final third, 3 interceptions, 6 ball recoveries, 3 duels won, 1 tackle won. Just a much better performance from Casemiro, and 1 goal, 1 assist as well, which obviously helped win us the game. But what I'm being encouraged by there is his performance sort of off the ball as much as on the ball. I thought it was really good, and loads of balls, sort of those cross-field first-time balls that he's really good at. He was picking those out again tonight as well. Do you know what this was tonight for me? Just a relaxing performance. Yeah. Not just relaxing in the moment, but this has relaxed me a little bit going forward now. I feel as though actually maybe we can win games comfortably. Maybe things aren't quite as bad. And obviously, one performance, we've got to follow that up now against Palace at the weekend. And hopefully they didn't lull us into a false sense of security tonight by barely trying. But it's nice to just not constantly feel as though, oh my God, United are going to play tomorrow. No. Oh my God, we're going to kick off soon. I've been not dreading it, but certainly not been looking forward to watching United play at the minute, because it just feels like everything on and off the pitch is carnage. And tonight they just felt the least amount of turbulence of anything on the pitch or off the pitch all season, and I'm so happy we've seen a performance where you can just go, oh, that was all right, that wasn't it?
100%. I'm going to get into loads of people in the chat, so I'm going to get into that. Hit that like button. Let's get to 400 likes. We've got 211 so far. We can easily smash that with over 3,000 people watching. Get involved in the comments in the chat as well, because I want to hear from you guys. Let us know who your man of the match was. I know Casemiro got it. What you thought of the performance, what you thought of the tactics, what you thought of the youngsters, what you thought of Sofian Amrabat, all that jazz. SG's been a member of the academy for 32 months, says, that volley from Lindelof was mega, deserved the goal. Johnny Evans is a red. He hates Scousers. Ayas Hamza said, funny thing, the supposed B team looks better than the A team. Martin P says, Evans taking Slabhead's title from him. Sebastian Mercado says, Dan Gore did more in 30 minutes than Scott McTominay has done in 30 appearances. Ace Nog 123 says, Casemiro and Amrabat absolutely running the show. Petter Sternerson says, just waiting for the pundits to claim that United was so much more in balance without Bruno. No doubt that's nonsense. He's going to start. Martin P says, is Joe wearing Manan's curtains? Are you wearing his Manan's curtains?
I am, yeah. She gave them to me after a rousing performance.
Oh, well, you can't argue with that. BMW Racing 1974.
I had to go him in summer.
Casemiro's captain too. I think Varane was captain as well. Did they both share? I can't remember. I'm losing my mind. Andy Ward says Mount was decent. Yes, he was. I was impressed with that. Danny Quinn says Amrabat, what a signing. Biram 87 though says, let's not get carried away. Hormaz Kakaria, says Garnacho played well. Junior says Palace are going to turn into prime Barca on the weekend. Stelios says, what on earth are you actually wearing, Joe, for real? I think that's quite a normal top for you.
A corduroy shirt.
I don't know why that's getting attention. That is nothing compared to
the 50s.
Yeah, to what you normally wear. Mr. Mamsey says Sofian was class. Passing range is insane. Keep him coming. Let us know what you think. Rory Connolly says Casemiro getting back to fitness. Big question for Eric Tanaka, and I want to hear from you guys in the comments in the chat as well. What does he do for the next game against Palace? Completely change it? Does he keep Amrabat? Does he keep Mount in the team? Does he keep Casemiro? You'd imagine Casemiro would start. What do you do? Obviously, Rashford's going to come back in. Bruno's going to come back in. I imagine Højlund is. How much do you change that team, though, from what you saw tonight?
We have to play Bruno Fernandes.
Yeah.
Whether that's off the right or through the middle and put Mason Mount on the right, I think we have to play Amrabat.
Yeah.
I think we saw tonight, that he's got the legs that Eriksen doesn't.
Yeah.
And especially, you can play Eriksen in certain games, and once we've got a little confidence, once we've got a style, once we've got a bit more momentum at home, put him in those home games, even against, some of the sort of the better teams. He had really good games last season, but you can't do it every single week anymore. And I think Amrabat offers something that Eriksen doesn't, and he offers a nice little counter to the sort of Bruno Mount area of the pitch, I think, because sometimes they can be so focused on rushing for the ball that they leave big spaces in behind. I think Amrabat, his sort of positioning and his work rate, and then Casemiro's just reading of the game, that makes a lot more sense to me. But you can't not bring Bruno back in. I would play a midfield three of Amrabat, Casemiro and Bruno. I'd push Mount over to the right hand side because, again, I don't think Pellistri had a bad game, but I don't think he did a lot tonight really. And I think, or maybe you put Bruno out on the right, Højlund and then Rashford. And I think, to be honest, who else would you drop? I think it'd be unfair not to play Bruno Fernandes, don't you?
Yeah, I agree. I don't think he's going to drop Bruno Fernandes. Lots of people actually praising what you're wearing.
Thank you.
So it's not all H's. Sorry, there was loads of them and I've just gone. Apiden says, Joe, I like the shirt, very fashionable. Mohammed Omar says, Joe, suits you, Joe, very much. Everyone played well tonight, says Cameron Hall. I don't think anyone played badly. Brito Thapper says, Amrabat, godly. Hit that like button as well, please. Gareth Gardiner says, Mount, right wing at weekend.
Yep.
Gabidon Kevon makes a great point here. Dalot was unplayable. Thought he had a very, very good game tonight.
Yes.
Oscar Malloy says, like the video. Jody Nelson says, Palestri deserves a start on the right. So it'll be interesting to see some people saying you start Mason Mount, others saying you start Facundo Palestri. There's options there. I know it's, you'd like to have more. I'm sure you'd like to have Jadon Sancho available, but we don't need to get into all that. We know why Jadon Sancho isn't available. Go on, I think you've got some else there for me.
Diogo Dalot, which I think is, I'm glad that's been brought up because I wanted to get into some of his stats during the game, but I think we scored just as I was about to do it.
Yeah.
Diogo Dalot is one of those players that does have some weaknesses. Yeah. But actually, he's kind of a 7 out of 10 across the board, isn't he? Yeah. Do you know what I mean? Like, he's not that bad one-on-one. He's not great, but he's not bad. His defensive position is pretty good. His passing's pretty good. His dribbling's pretty good. His crossing's pretty good. His energy's pretty good. His physicality's pretty good. He's pretty good in the air. Like, he's one of those players that just is across the board a decent player. And I think he had a good game today, 62 passes. But the crucial thing for me that I like is 5 out of 5 tackles won. So it's not just, like getting into the box, and he was doing a lot of defensive work there. As far as I can see, that's the most tackles of anyone on the pitch, or certainly for United. 5 recoveries as well, 7 duels won, 7 out of his 10 ground duels won. And I just thought 2 out of 3 successful dribbles as well. He's just played well. Just a good, solid performance again. 7 out of 10 performance for me. And I don't mean that in a bad way. I just mean he's just a consistently decent player. And he's playing off the right, he's playing off the left. I hope for his sake that he can have a run in the team now where he gets to play off the right-hand side for a little bit and show what he's got, because he's 24 and he's just getting into that point of his career where he could do with a big season. Yeah. Like, if he really wants to cement his place at United, maybe 5 or 6 assists and just a consistent performance this season would be massive for him, because there's a lot of people that don't even think he would be starting for Manchester United. They'd put Wan-Bissaka ahead of him. I just would love to see him really kick on in this time where he's basically got both fullback slots to himself. He's our only fit fullback. So, good performance again from him.
We just heard from Eric Tanag. He says, we played quite well. We dominated the game. Yeah. I agree. I think we did. I don't think there's anything to complain about. A good, dominating performance from Manchester United. 3-0 at home to Crystal Palace. The youngsters playing well. The new signing playing well. Harry Maguire come back into the team. Anthony Martial come back into the team. Even a Donny van der Beek cameo. Who'd have thunk it? Joe, where can people find you?
Sloppy Joe's podcast, new episode just came out today, so go and check that out.
You know where to find me as well, Jay Marty. We'll be back tomorrow with the news. We've got a chat with Spurs. You've spoke to a Spurs fan channel, haven't you, about Sergio Reguilon. About
on Reguilon.
How good he is, a bit of a scouting report. We've also got an interview with Adam Crafton from The Athletic, so make sure, good stuff. Make sure you are hitting like, share and subscribe. That's been Joe Smith. I'm Jay Marty. This has been the review of Manchester United's dominant performance against Crystal Palace in the 3rd round of the Carabao Cup. Thanks for watching.